Is it really alt season? A critical look at emerging market trends. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Sorry I missed you yesterday. Super duper busy day, busy week, man. Things are going fast around here. The market is popping. Business has been popping. Obviously, we've been running some big sales, so that's been keeping me busy here on managing the material indicator side of the business. On that note, big stuff going on right now as we just kicked off the holiday sale. So before we climb into things, I just want to remind you all, for those who don't know yet, that we do have some pretty awesome opportunities over at Material Indicators. If you are interested, I invite you to check out the sale we've got going on right now, 33% off every single plan. And what's different about this this sale than what we've done recently, like with our Better Than Black Friday sales, etc., is number one, it includes every plan, every time frame, including monthly. And for the first time in a really long time, we've got a sale on our lifetime Premium Plus lifetime licenses. We're only selling 10 at this deep discount. So if you're interested in that, get in there and grab one while they are there at materialindicators.com. As normal, live chat is open. If you want to join me, I'd love to have you engage with me here on the live stream, because we're going to talk alt season. It's debatable on whether we can call this a validated alt season just yet. And so we're going to look at the charts. We're going to look at how Bitcoin is consolidating and the strength that's happening there. We're going to look at ETH. We're going to look at a handful of alts, and we're going to look at Bitcoin dominance to see what it reveals about the status of alt season and how things may develop from here. So let's go ahead and climb into the charts. Where do we want to start first? Let's just start on the candle chart here for Bitcoin. Yesterday we got a little bit of a flush. I think this was really the catalyst for this, and we saw it really across alts as well. Really a market-wide quick flush was due to martial law being declared in South Korea for a few hours, and things recovered very nicely. Now, this obviously a weak-ass candle here, a doji hammer, and this may be indicating a bit of a reversal here, because it looked like we might be starting to trend down. The 21-day moving average held. We actually saw things open up in the order book a little bit briefly at that time, where I thought, saw here on fire charts, I thought that we might actually see a deeper correction as we had a rug pull. And I posted this yesterday, that we had a rug pull in that 94K range. And then we started to see more bid liquidity replenish into this range, and now it's stacking above 95K, and price seems to be holding for the moment, and at least mega whales are buying. The fact that let's go into the daily and see if we have any real activity with the other order classes. Whales buying a little bit, the green class is buying a little bit, but not convinced that this is the move to 100K yet. Right. And it would make sense that it's not, because we have alts really decorrelating or anti-correlated from Bitcoin for the first time in a long time. That's developed here over the past couple of weeks. And if we look at one of the metrics in our in the MI dashboard here, this is the 14-day rolling correlation to BTC for all altcoin pairs. And you can see that largely there is an anti-correlation here between alts and Bitcoin. And I mean, like, less than 20% correlation. And that opens the door for this alt season that everybody is excited about. Now, again, as I said at the top, it's debatable on whether or not this is actually a validated alt season just yet. Sure, we're seeing a lot of the signs, and things seem to be moving in that direction. And whether it is or isn't, there's certainly some amazing opportunities with alts. And I would encourage you, if you are, well, let me say this. I'm not going to encourage you to do anything. I'm personally very much a Bitcoin trader. I do not dabble much in alts at all. I have zero respect for shitcoins. The ones that do nothing and have no use case. That said, there's a lot of opportunity with a lot of these coins. But the way I trade them may not be the way you trade them. I get in, I get out, because they can retrace on you as quickly as they pump. So be mindful of that. Probably the biggest mistake that traders make, especially in an alt season situation where alts are pumping, is failure to take profits along the way. And so, if you have eyes on something going double digits, triple digits, or potentially multi-xing, then I would encourage you to find those targets, take some profit off the table, potentially even take your initial investment off the table, and then you're playing with essentially free money. XRP obviously been having a big week here this week, and there are some fundamental reasons that that may make XRP actually a real player here in the not too distant future. Some fundamental reasons behind XRP, behind their performance, behind the recent performance. But that said, we got a huge pump, and then what? Right? It shot past a lot of people's targets. I mean, if you look at what's happened here just since, in the past couple of days, even since the beginning of the month, right? Let's go to the dailies on the, okay, here's the beginning of the month. That's already 48%. If you look at what's happened since election day, that's 500%. So how much more do you expect that to do? Is it the top? It might be. It very well might be. Look, it almost made it up here to the 1.618. And so you have to really have conviction if you're going to continue to trade this coin. Now, I will tell you, I've scalped it a couple times. I take it, I lock in some profits, and then what happens, right? And so I got closed out the other day. I think on my last couple of scalps, I think I got in around 227. It pumped like 20%. I didn't want to get overzealous in closing too early, in case it continued to run. But as you can see, it came down, and yesterday it came down quite a bit, and flushed out a trade. That's okay. I still made good money on that trade, and I entered lower. I re-entered. I compounded those profits. I re-entered even lower than my initial trade, and I'm back in it at this point and making money. And again, I've locked in profits because I don't have high expectations. Could this go to $5? Sure, absolutely, it could. But am I going to bank on that? I'm working at this stage with a limited amount of capital because I have the majority of my portfolio in Bitcoin. I've got a percentage that I am trading alts with, a few that I'm holding on to, like ETH and Solana, or that I may be staking, like Polygon or Matic, whatever you like to call it. And so I'm working with a finite amount of capital, and I'm just continuing to recycle it as quickly as I can. If I have real conviction on something, then I will let it go. Litecoin's an example of something that I'm hanging on to a little bit. But I'm also simultaneously trading. I have taken some profits on my Litecoin position. I've also added to that position. Now, in hindsight, I probably would have left that position open. But it was a situation where I wasn't going to be around to trade. I was out doing some family stuff. I wanted to protect profits. I put my trailing stop loss in profit, and it did what it did. I made good money on it. No real regrets there. I have still got myself a great position on Litecoin. But again, you have to know that these things at some point will get toppy. Now, I think that Litecoin actually has a lot of room to run here. just based on this macro fib retracement. I think that it's got quite a ways to go, which is why I'm still hanging in it. And so what I'm looking for now at this point is coins that haven't already reached new all-time highs, right? I'm looking for coins that have that opportunity to make that huge run. And so in terms of whether or not this is yet a validated alt season, whether it is or not, it doesn't really matter, because when you find opportunities like this, you capitalize on them, right? And yes, this can go in both directions, right? It's difficult to short when things are mooning like this, but when you get to these toppy levels, obviously there's going to be a bit of a retrace, right? And so, what happened yesterday? We had that quick flush. It was what, a 20% from the high. And so I would be scalping these rather than hanging on for something deeper, just because you never know. Simple as that. You never know. Now, Putin today making some statements about Bitcoin, very, very bullish. How that all unfolds over time, pretty much above my pay grade. But we know that that Trump is threatening the BRICS nations if they try and use or create or support another currency to undermine the U.S. dollar. And Putin's like, well, nobody's gonna ban Bitcoin at this point, and why can't that be a global reserve currency? Well, pretty good use case for Bitcoin, in my opinion. That may, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but that may change Trump's tune on some of the things that he campaigned upon, but that wouldn't be a surprise to me or anybody else. So what else did I want to look at here? Bitcoin dominance. That's a key metric here, especially when you're talking about alt season, right? And this is where I think it brings into question whether or not we're actually in alt season, and at least a validated alt season, because Bitcoin dominance is still above that 50% level. Historically, you see it in the 40-45% level, maybe 45-50% range. As long as Bitcoin remains the dominant asset, it's questionable whether or not we are in a validated, confirmed alt season. Now, I'll say this alongside that. Because of the institutional demand, and because there's more USDT in the market, maybe Bitcoin dominance doesn't degrade, doesn't erode as much as we've seen historically in an alt season, like we saw back here. And when I speak of demand, we've had some major inflows. ETH actually doing pretty well here in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days on the ETH ETF, according to Farside. And Bitcoin, obviously, also printing big inflows here on the Bitcoin ETF. Michael Saylor bought a bunch more Bitcoin this week, I think, as well. So all these things are helping support the narrative for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is trading strong here above this 21-day moving average. Now, I will say this. Don't be fooled by thinking that up only is a thing that will continue. It's not. There will be a correction at some point, a deeper correction than this, I would imagine. And when is it going to come? Well, it's going to come probably when you least expect it. All right. We have a history. If you look at the charts in Bitcoin historically, there have been many, many times where there have been dips greater than 20%, 30%, 50%, right? And so I want to show you something here on my halving chart. Let me just add a few things back in. Where are my halving markers? Here we go. So if we look at the history of halvings and we look at the history of the market here, There are times where we've seen deep corrections, lots of them, right? But price continued. And so we are certainly in I think we can safely say this is a confirmed and validated bull market post halving scenario where we can expect to see price appreciate. Now, I personally think it's good that we're finally getting some consolidation here. It's happening a bit higher than I actually expected, right? I really think we had a very strong, fast move after the election. This was the Trump pump we knew was coming. I expected to see more consolidation a bit lower, maybe down here, maybe here. Hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean it can't, doesn't mean it won't. Just means it hasn't happened yet. And we need to continue to watch to see how things develop to get a better sense of things. But just if you zoom out to the broad picture here, it's easy to see the times that we have had, even in bull markets, significant corrections. Let's mark a couple of them, right? This was a bull for sure, and that was 22%. This was obviously our mid-cycle top here back in 2021. And what happened after that? How deep was that dump? That was 55, 56%. Okay. And so there's no reason that can't happen now or any time without notice. And so if we look at what that move would look like, and certainly history doesn't have to repeat itself. It doesn't have to be a 56% move. It could be 20%. It could be anywhere. It could be 60%. It could be anywhere, anywhere in the range or more. But just, for shits and giggles, 57% takes us down to the 200-week moving average, which is, if we start losing these moving averages is when you start to be concerned or wonder whether the market is going to hold here, right? So those are key metrics. The fact that the 21-week moving average is now above the 2021 top, that 69K level that we consolidated under for so long. We spent years under this level before we even returned to it. And we've consolidated here since March until finally breaking out here on election day. And so maybe we consolidate a little further. Maybe we pump and shake them out. Typically we see around holidays, big family holidays in the U.S., Thanksgiving, certainly one of the biggest. Those are times that historically we have seen Bitcoin and to a degree alts pump because people are discussing, crypto around the table with their family and friends when they come, they all gather around holiday vacation time. And so, sure, we get a little pump off of that. Thanksgiving was just last week. And so, or I guess almost, it was a week ago. And so, you have some new money coming in, some new retail money coming in. Notoriously, those would be retail paper money hands. And so yesterday's little flush may or may not have caught a few people. I don't think it was big enough to really be considered the real shakeout. I think it's conceivable that we see price pump again in the not too distant future, and then get a deeper flush, potentially even a bigger correction before price finds its footing and heads back towards price discovery. When does this happen? We can speculate, and that's, sure, that's fun to do, but there's no data behind it, right? I mean, we could speculate that Inauguration Day would be the day that becomes the sell the news event for Bitcoin. Who knows? We could see price pump to 100K before that. We could see price pump to 100K after that. So that all just remains to be seen. If it happens before Inauguration Day, I would not be the least bit surprised if we started to see things break down shortly after that, at least in the short term. So, but that's all speculation, of course, right? So we talked about XRP, we talked about Litecoin. If there's anything in particular that you guys would like to look at, by all means, chime into the chat and we can take a look. Live comments again open here on YouTube. So what are another couple of coins I've been looking at here? Vet is another one that's been moving here past couple days here. Well, it's been a high volume coin anyways, and now you see it retracing from a local top here. Is that a local top or an all-time high? That's a local top. And to me, this is what I like about coins like this. Now, obviously, you know, if you catch the breakouts, that's obviously great. But if you don't catch the breakout, how do you re-enter? And so you need to look for those opportunities of where and when you can do that rather than just chasing price, right? So for me, I don't really know anything about this coin in terms of its history or any real use case, but I do know a good setup when I see one, right? Breaking this level, breaking this structure, obviously a sign of breakout. A 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple bottom. This probably could be a little bit lower, right? Right down here. If we want to count the wicks, I don't. So before I just go moving lines randomly, I will tell you that no, it should actually be a bit lower. I don't even know when I drew that, but based on what we're seeing now, so say that's that's your double bottom. There's still lots of potential upside, in my opinion, for this coin, even if it just retraces to the 0.618 fib, 145% or so. And so that's what I'm looking for in terms of coins that I might be interested in trading. And in terms of finding an entry on something like this, I'm looking for key levels of prior support or RS flips. You know, if we're lucky enough to get a retrace back to here, well, that would be great. But what if we don't? So, what are some other levels that might come into play here? The 200 week moving average is just shy of 5 cents, right? And VWAP, probably a more realistic target at the moment here. Let's see where it's sitting. Okay, we're below VWAP on the daily, so this is interesting. So I have my bids right now. I have a small bid in that just below 5 cent range. So we'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not going to chase it. There's other things to go after. Wakas, good to see you here today. A very brief day, very knowledgeable. Thanks lots. Hey, I appreciate the support, man. You know, I'll be honest. I'm not an expert on alts by any stretch of the imagination. I hardly ever trade them, but this is a time of year to do that. So, and I think there's more opportunities coming. So I'm looking for the setups rather than chase every shiny pumping coin. I'm looking for the ones that have potential for a lot more upside. As opposed to the ones that may have already topped, right? Solana is another one that's really been making strides. Solana, I like because of the fundamentals. The fundamentals Solana has. Now, it came very, very close to its all-time high. Actually, did we crack it? Did we crack the all-time high and set a new one here? Nonetheless, how much is left, right? So I'm still holding and staking Solana. I think it does have potential to do more, potentially a lot more. But in terms of where I would look to add to my position, I would look for a pullback, either a pullback or a breakout, right? So a pullback back towards the 786 fib and this 50-day moving average might be an opportunity there. What has Doge done? Doge, another one. I've never cared much for this coin, but there's been opportunity there, largely, in my opinion, because of Elon Musk and the now brand new Department of Government Efficiency that he's in charge of. But this is a big move already, right? So how much is left? I'm just scalping this with my MTF bot. The volatility here is fantastic. So I look for those. I look for those opportunities. Let's see if I happen to have that open. Do I have it? I have XRP on that MTF grid. Let's see what Doge is doing. Trading a mean, using this mean reversion strategy has really proven to be valuable over the years. And when you have something that's volatile, like Doge, and a lot of alts, then those are prime for trading these ranges. And again, I take the money, I buy the dip. I take the money, I buy the dip. And so, now's the time you might also want to be thinking about trading against Bitcoin, because it's a chance, it's a way that you can stack more Bitcoin. And so in a situation like this, and I'm doing this live in the fire here, guys, you might want to adjust the volatility, the range that you have your indicator set up. This is, let's see just how it's performing here lately. It's been trading in a much tighter range here. So I would probably narrow this down to get more action out of it. I would probably narrow this to something more like this and potentially get more trades. Yeah. So that's interesting. And probably what I'm going to be doing after I wrap up this live stream here. So with that, I want to take another look at fire charts here. As you can see, we have a bit of sell pressure happening here, but it's been stronger than I expected here above 95K. Like I said earlier, I really expected to see things fade back a bit into this range. It hasn't really happened. We dipped in there, after we broke out, we dipped in there briefly. But for the moment, things are holding. And look at this tight range here. You have I'm on the 4-hour chart here, but you have 3 moving averages that price is compressed between right now on the 4-hour. What's that look like on the daily? Basically, it just keeps us above that 21-day moving average. And if we stay above this, hey, that's just unbelievable strength. I would not be the least bit surprised if we faded back even deeper for a number of reasons, because obviously this channel would be the next natural landing zone. Below that, we could go to the 50-day moving average and still be well above trend. And aside from that, the trend line is way down here, right? So aside from that, a deeper breakdown, where could it take us? A deeper breakdown could take us obviously all the way back down below that 2021 top, which nobody really wants to see at this point, except the ultra bears, which are likely hibernating at the moment. But we do have something that's worth paying attention to, and that is, let me find the chart. There it is. That is the CME gap, which extends down to 70, almost 78,000. So we could have an overshoot of that, because there's actually more, in my opinion, more confluence here in, say, the 76, 77K range. So we could see price go back, all the way down here if we get that gap fill. Again, I think it's going to take a catalyst to do that, but just be prepared. 20 to 50% corrections happen frequently in bull markets, and there's nothing that says that this bull market should be any different. So just be aware of that. Doesn't mean it has to shake you out. Might mean you're limiting your leverage. I don't use any, so it's not an issue for me, but you just want to be prepared for those moves to happen, and know that it's more than likely that when that does happen, and I think it's not an if, but a when that does happen, that we're going to see a recovery and price will continue on its trajectory. Again, we're well above trend here. What I'm looking to see is if and when price can make its way back into this lifetime channel and really get into some serious price discovery. To me, this is the glass ceiling on price for this cycle anyways, right? So what's it take to get there from here? That's only a 33% move, right? And when you have alts doing triple digits, it's easy to understand why people want to trade alts right now. So we will just have to, you have to do what's right for you. I personally am not giving up my Bitcoin at this point. I'm not going to rotate out of it to trade in some alts. I'm going to hang on to it and just use a little bit of capital that I have set on the side to play the alt game to generate some more powder to buy more Bitcoin on that dip. And with that, I'm going to wrap it there, guys. Again, if you like the stream, do me a favor and smash the buttons. Help me grow this channel, and of course, share a comment. If you're not watching on YouTube and you can't get into the live chat, then pop in a comment on X, and I'll look forward to engaging with you there. In the meantime, I've got a busy week ahead. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get back in front of the camera for you guys here this week. So just know that I'll be thinking about you, and I'm trying to arm you with some knowledge to help you make some decisions as we cruise. Hey, AR, sorry you missed it too, but don't worry, man. This thing will be archived on X and on YouTube, so you can take it back to the beginning and watch from the start. I think I shared some pretty valuable stuff with you guys today. Gonna leave it right there, guys. Hope you have a good one, and as always, here's to trading smarter.